So, welcome to Conversations with Sarah. I'm Sarah Reddan, creator of the SRTT Self-Care Club. Thanks for listening. And remember to like and subscribe to be notified of new episodes. And you can come and find me at SRTT Self-Care on Facebook and join me in my Facebook group for live recordings. So, hi, Leah. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
That's okay. So as you said, you're back because you guested before when I very first started the podcast. You're one of our group experts in the self-care journey group on Facebook. I think it's just over a year that we actually did the very first episode. So I wanted you to come back and share sort of where you're at now with your journey of your yoga practice and your business, of course, which I have stayed in touch with, and I'm now part of where you've grown to. So for those that wouldn't have heard anything about you before, will you share just a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Leah from Lakora Yoga, and I help women, mainly mums, improve their flexibility, their strength, and the balance so that they can feel a bit more mobile, maybe have more energy, they can get better into the yoga poses. And the reason that I do this is because yoga is such a great tool to help with stress, to have less bodily aches. And it's just a great way to kind of feel a sense of achievement and to understand your body a bit more, which I think every parent needs after having kids and having your whole life 24/7 now. It's just focused on them, and it's nice to be able to kind of bring themselves back to themselves and understanding their thoughts and their body. So that's who I focus on. But yeah, I think it has been about a year since we spoke. And even though it's only been a year, I feel like so much has changed, especially with my practice and what I'm putting out there for everybody as well. Because I think in the first episode, we were talking about my YouTube channel, and it was all about the chakras. And I had it all laid out in this pretty way for chakras, which was lovely. But what I noticed is that my yoga, I tend to focus a lot more on beginners and people who maybe can't move their body so well, and that's coming from personal experience because I was extremely inflexible, and I kind of had to change it up because somebody new to yoga who's coming in just to get a little bit of a stretch, they don't know what chakras are. Well, most people don't, and no. I feel like I was going a little bit too much into the whole yoga spiritual side, because I had just qualified for my yoga teacher training as well. So I didn't feel fresh in my head, and I was just trying to get it all out there. So I've kind of narrowed it back a bit to focus more on mums and the people that I want to help. So at the minute it is focused on yoga poses, because I feel like when people first get into yoga or first start looking into the fitness, that's normally the first place people go, is I want to improve my body, I want to improve my health. And that was the same for me. I wanted to improve the yoga poses. I wanted to get more flexible. So I like that focusing on that kind of brings people in, and I focus more on the alignment so they can understand yoga a little bit better and the way their body moves. And then they kind of transition into this, oh, hold on, yoga is actually really good for me. I'm feeling less stressed and I can sleep better and I'm not having as many aches. So yeah, I think it's transitioned a lot from a year ago.
Yeah, it really has. And like when we talk, and there's still things that you are the same, like you talk about on and being on the mat and off the mat and how that helps, and you demonstrate that in class and with your YouTubes as well. I mean, I loved the spiritual side. That's what kind of first made me interested. So that connected me in, but actually how you deliver yoga now is perfect for what I actually need. So it's brilliant that I've really enjoyed kind of being able to view and experience your journey. And I think because like you have a young child, you're at that place, and it really does demonstrate, because sometimes she is around with a class recently. But I love that. My children are older. Like it isn't something that it interrupts my day in any way now, because they live independently of me. But my clients, I know, with the busyness and life, having young children can absolutely be a barrier to self-care. And there's something so beautiful, magical in demonstrating that you as a small child, having a small child, can still find ways, and you work around it, and she maybe gets involved or just sits at the side, and it really helps, I think, being able to experience that and know that, yeah, okay, sometimes it might not be absolutely, like, my practice may not be perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm still getting benefit from doing it and demonstrating to my kids that this is good to look after yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. We got to show them that self-care is important as well. And I think that's one thing that I like is, I mean, when I teach, I mainly try and do it when she's not around, mainly because I've seen so many of my friends who can do yoga so nicely with their kids next to them and they're copying them. My daughter is not like that. And she will run up, she'll jump on my back, she'll start hitting me. She's just crazy. So it's more dangerous to do it when she's around, because, you know, we could both get injured.
And this was only like one moment that this happened, but I just love that it was something that people could experience, and it just is that permission giving, and it just removes one of the barriers.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think it was so nice that time that she did interrupt, to show that, you know, I'm a real person and we've all got real lives, and, you know, yeah, your kids are going to interrupt sometimes, but there's still ways around it, you know, like she was perfectly happy just watching, and she was just intrigued in what we were doing. And yeah, I think it's great to do. And this is why it's lovely for them to see that, and to see you taking care of your body, because I feel like kids need to know how to do that as well. But then also on my YouTube channel, I do short 5-minute videos for this reason, because we've all got lives, we've all got kids running around, or you've had kids running around. And even if you haven't got kids and you're just busy, it's hard to fit time in. So that's why I'm doing short 5-minute classes on YouTube, so that just to show that you can kind of fit yoga in, even if it is 5 minutes, like while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, or, you know, something. It's easy to fit it in if you really want it.
And I really enjoy the 5-minute classes, because they are something that with my mobility stuff, I can do and mostly succeed at doing, and feel like, I've achieved. Like, it was, you know, and now, you know, when I do the classes, I just adapt where I need to. And you very much, my experience of you is that you very much say, like, there's this or there's that, or there's take a moment if you need to. So it feels really inclusive, but sometimes you want to feel like you've done the whole thing, and that's when a 5-minute workout's great for me, because it's like, yes, I did it start to finish, I did it all, it's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why in the membership, as you know, because you're in there, the classes are 30 minutes and 40 minutes. It's not like a whole hour, which I know whole hour classes are lovely, and there are some in my membership, but it's nice to just do 30 minutes and know that you've done it from start to finish, because like you said, you've got that self of accomplishment. But also, I feel like a lot of people maybe don't want to do yoga because they feel like they can't, or they feel like they're not flexible, or they just feel like they can't move their bodies. And it's like, it baffles me, because I know this is the way that a lot of people think. I know a lot of friends who won't try it because they feel like they can't, but that is why you do yoga, to improve your flexibility and to move better. And you can, especially in my classes, I think this is why I tend to focus more on the beginners as well, because when I first started and I was going to YouTube to look for yoga classes, I remember typing in a beginner's yoga class and I couldn't get through 10 minutes. And I was like, I just feel useless. And I hated that feeling, and I didn't want anybody else to feel like that as well. So I feel like that's why I mainly focus on beginners, and then I do kind of scale it back, and I do try to add a lot of different poses so that people can rest when they want. And this is the great thing about doing it through Zoom as well, because if you've got people on the screen, you can see where they're at, and then you can adapt your class to fit them. So it's great to be able to do it for everybody.
And that was one of my questions, actually, for people who say they can't do yoga but want to. Like, they're interested, they're intrigued, but I want to say decided, because it is, we decide we can't do something, we think we don't have the capability to do it. And I get there will be some people that are very limited in their mobility, or have situations where movement is not easily done. So who can't who absolutely cannot do yoga, in your opinion? Or is that too big a question? Do I need to ask it a different way?
No, I would say no one.
Okay.
Because obviously we can all have different things wrong with the body, but this is an extreme. But I saw a video the other day of a man who didn't have any legs, and he was in a yoga class. Like, you know, he was still lifting his arms up and still trying to do cobra. And there's ways to adapt all of these.
Yeah. So as long as you've got some mobility in the limbs, there's some way of moving in a way that
definitely
that will move you.
Yeah, if you do feel really immobile, then there's chair yoga, which is awesome, because you're just sat on a chair and then you're just moving your body around the chair, which is great. A lot of people do that for going into old people's homes. They bring chair yoga in for the elderly. So yeah, there's definitely certain ways, and there's even things like not even so much of the main movement, but there's stuff like face yoga, like you can massage your face and all this, and then coming completely away from obviously the movement, there's the whole other side of yoga. So the yoga, mainly this has come from Ashtanga, but there's the 8 limbs of yoga, and only one of them is physical movement. There's like 7 other things that you can practice to do yoga. So I'm not going to go too much to detail, but one of them is
because you know that's my next question. Tell me more about the 7 things.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you got the asana, which is the physical. You've got the pranayama, which is the breathing exercises, which obviously there are loads of breathing exercises. There's got to remember all these now. There's the yamas and the niyamas. So this is I'm trying to remember which way around they are now. Don't quote me on this. The niyamas is right. So there's the niyamas and the yamas. I'm not going to name which one's which because I can't remember. The one of them is basically how you treat yourself and how you look toward yourself, and the other one is how you treat the world and how you you know, what you do good in the world. So just doing them 2 is yoga, like the way you see yourself and the way you treat other people. And then the other 4 are all based on meditation. So the first one is meditation, and then it goes deeper into meditation, which is, it goes very, very deep into meditation. So
we will just put it under that. And that's kind of when we had our conversation, and I had the light bulbs kind of go off of like, oh, of course, I used to really enjoy doing yoga movement, and I do mindfulness, and I do all this other stuff, and why have I not connected these things together? And like the philosophies and the things that I talk about fit very much into what you talk about with yoga. And there was a time, I'm pretty sure I said it on the last podcast, it's like, it's not really something I do anymore because my body just doesn't want to let me do these things. And the reality is I am getting better at it through doing it. My recovery time is getting shorter through doing it. I have to listen. So like I haven't done class this week because my knee is complaining at me for walking. Just mute at the moment. So but I'm still doing, because you talked about like little movements, moving your hands and things like that. So I am doing little things, but I'm not kneeling down and getting on a mat because my knee is telling me that's not what I need to be doing this week.
Exactly. And that's yoga. Understanding your body and knowing that you shouldn't be doing that. That's still mindfulness, which is yoga. So you're practicing. There you go. Understanding your body.
But you just, I wouldn't have framed it that way before because I had initially come into yoga. I used to do it as a gym class. It was something that I did a DVD just for like my muscles, and I hadn't really thought about it before. So even though now my intention with yoga is to build my muscle strength, that's one of the main reasons that I'm using it. There's all the other stuff that comes into it, and we kind of touched a little bit on mindfulness, and I know like you talk about sort of how being on the mat, off the mat helps with like mental health as well. Can you explain a little bit more about how you feel yoga helps with improving mental health?
Yeah, definitely. So when we move our bodies, like I said at the start, like I tend to help mums, and mainly this is to help their mental health, because when you are moving your bodies, this kind of goes back to the chakras as well. You're releasing these chakra energy points, you're getting the energy flowing, and doing this helps you to understand your body better. So when you get into the physical movements, I'm trying to think of an example now. Last night my class was all based on balance. So we were doing warrior 3, where you're stood on one leg and your other leg's kind of up behind you. And my balance was completely off because I haven't been feeling very well. So just seeing that in my practice, and this is for anybody, when you struggle with something in your practice, there's normally a reason behind it. Now, it could be flexibility and strength and, or the bodily functions, but also it can be mental. And when your mind is unfocused, you're going to start losing balance in your practice. So it's kind of being aware of how you feel. And one reason that I was unbalanced is because in my head, I'm thinking, don't cough, because my microphone is right here. And, I don't want to start coughing when people are practicing their yoga. So my mind was all over the place and my balance was being thrown off. And when you can start seeing things like that in your body, that can start to help your mental health. And things like breathing. If you're in a pose and you're really struggling to catch your breath, it's normally because you've taken it too far. So you need to know to push yourself back out. But it's having the awareness to know not to push yourself so much. And then I like drop bits like this into my class all the time. And it's like, if you are constantly pushing yourself, where else are you doing that in your life? Are you pushing yourself in your job? Are you pushing yourself to, in your relationships? Are you pushing yourself to be more than what you need to be right now? And it's just having that understanding that you can then take out into the world and then start to understand where you can scale it back and help yourself a little bit better. Does that explain it?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is part of it is deepening your connection to yourself.
Exactly.
So understanding yourself, understanding and being able to connect in with your, like the way I look at the world, the lens that I look through. If you are connecting in with what's going on with your body, then you are able to connect in with your emotional state, with your thoughts that are going on, your triggers that are happening when you, I nearly swore, when you get frustrated by something.
Exactly.
The phrase I actually thought was when you lose your when you you're able to kind of bring it back and connect into more, actually what is going on for me, what is happening now. And with everything, the deeper understanding we have of self, the easier it is to kind of notice what's going on. This triggered me for this, and I can breathe, I can relax, I can let my body calm down, I can go about my day and transition into a space that feels good.
Yeah, and with the calming down, that's one thing that yoga can do, because you're moving through your body and you're slowing down your breathing, because the teachers normally slow down your breathing, long inhale, long exhale. You're getting your body out of that fight or flight mode, so you're calming your nervous system. So straight away, that's going to start helping your health, your mental health as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so interlinked. And I think if you, like we talked about before, if you kind of just see Instagram poses and all of the pretty aesthetic, which is beautiful, but like for myself, I'm in a bigger body. I have sought out other practitioners, other people that have bigger bodies, so I can see what it looks like for me. But you have to really, really look for that sort of stuff and be able to kind of go, oh, okay, that's me. If all you see is super, super flexible people doing these beautiful poses, they do look amazing on mountainsides and at swimming pools and all of this stuff. It can feel a little disconnected. It can feel a little gram life. It can feel a little unattainable. And most of us are there in our messy buns, or haven't done our hair, in our comfies, just trying to find that peace, that moment, that movement, that stuff that's I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just so different, isn't it, to what we see plastered at us on social media, and the actual experience of finding a yoga practice, a yoga teacher that inspires and resonates and kind of just sort of delivers a practice that feels right for you.
Yeah. And this is the other thing that I'm trying to like nail down my wording a little bit better, to focus on mums and normal people, but I don't want to say normal people because I feel like that might be not the right wording. But yeah, like you look at most yoga teachers on YouTube and, you know, I love them, I do their classes and stuff, but it's unrealistic. Like some of them, you know, they're off in Bali and living this wonderful life, and you kind of looking in like, yeah, oh, it is lovely, but like, and most of them haven't got kids, so they don't understand exactly, you know, you can't fit in an hour yoga every single day, when they're saying like, you know, if you, that this is another reason I like to focus on poses, because when I was trying to nail poses before, they're like, right, practice for 30 minutes minimum every single day. And I didn't have the time and I couldn't do that. And then, you know, it just makes you feel a bit disheartened. So that's why I'm trying to do that kind of yoga to improve poses and flexibility, but in a more sustainable way, like 5 minutes a day.
Yeah. It's so much more achievable because we both work with busy people. So it's so much more achievable when, you know, you've got all of the life commitments and stuff that you need to do, and you're making a transition from putting everybody else first to finding stuff that actually nourishes your soul and fills you up and is the things that you want to do. When you've been used to being busy all of the time, because sometimes busy people are only busy because they're being busy, they're not actually doing what needs to be done. But that's a whole different podcast. The idea of doing a 20-30 minute class, even that's big. An hour is just absolutely not going to happen. So the 5 minute classes, the sheets that you do with the poses, all of those different things, just I think does make it much more accessible. And that's why I wanted to come and have you talk with me, because I know from my experience of working with you that it's made it feel more accessible for me, even when my body is being a little bit like, this stuff I can still do. I don't always choose to do it, but that's my choice. That's my choice. And I feel the consequence of that in my body. But it's knowing that it's there, knowing that it's accessible. And if people are watching and they don't feel like you're the yoga teacher for them, that's great. But at least if they're inspired and gone, oh, maybe I can do yoga, they can go off and find other people, other resources, other places. But you've got some great challenges and groups where people can come and join free. I don't know, because I'm in your membership, so I don't actually pay attention to some of the other stuff that you're bringing in, because I just get it all. Have you got anything at the moment that's kind of being released or that's available for people to connect in with?
Yeah, I've got a 5-day free challenge that's Get Closer to Your Toes challenge. So that is up on my website. I think it comes up in a pop-up, but I will have to check. But if you go on,
can people just join that any time, or is that like a
that's
so
it'll
be in the show notes anyway. I have no idea how long we've been talking. I think maybe we've reached time. We're about that time. So I guess, is there anything that you haven't said that you really want to say first off about your own journey, because we went all over the place?
We did, didn't we? I think we pretty much covered it all. What I would say is, if you are considering yoga, then try loads of different teachers. I know you just said that, but everybody teaches completely different. And when I first started yoga, I was going to an Ashtanga class, which I absolutely loved, but that is pretty hard. And I got really disheartened because I couldn't do any of it. And then I found another teacher that did something completely different. She was really talking about the poses and I absolutely loved it. So just go and try different teachers. If you want to sign up to my 5-day challenge, then you can check that out. That's only 10 minutes for 5 days. So nice and easy to fit in. Perfect.
That's it then. Unless there's anything else you want to leave people listening with, if there's any of your philosophies, anything that you want people to kind of go into their day with.
There's so many things. Go and practice yoga first of all, but also breathing exercises as well. If you're feeling stressed, if you are a parent and things are getting a little bit too much, focus on your breath. Calm your breath down, which will calm your body down, which then calms your mind down. So deep breathing when you're feeling a little bit stressed.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I say, and I know when you're feeling stressed, that can sound so irritating to be told to breathe, because we all breathe. Obviously, I'm breathing, otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you. But it's different. Taking time to really consciously pay attention to that breath is different. So
And
it's like, give it a go.
yeah, and one way that you can calm your nervous system down, which is a little bit weird if you're out in public, but you can just close your eyes and go, basically humming, because it's going to, that calms your nerves. So if you just hum to yourself, then it is really soothing. And one way that's really good to do that is if you block your ears and block your eyes and do it, it can instantly calm you down. So try that one.
We'll be sitting in our cars, blocking our ears,
Yeah.
and blocking our eyes and humming away. Thank you so much, Leah. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you. Thanks for those that have listened. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I'd love to connect with you. So come and find me on Facebook as SRTT Self-Care. I'll be back next Wednesday with a new guest. Until then, stay curious and be kind to yourself. So I'm just going to stop.